Hey, how are you? It's been a little while since I posted, so I thought I'd make a quick video. It's kind of a video just want to show you what I'm doing here and maybe get a couple feedback for another question I have. So these are the SureLiner floor mats. Comes a complete set. So you know they come front and rear as a set. I think I bought them on eBay. I paid $139 for them. So hopefully, you know, I looked at the Huskies, at the WeatherTech and stuff like that, and I decided to go with these. Hopefully it's a good choice. I looked at them first, and they're pretty stiff and pretty tough. You know, I heard that the WeatherTech ones are even more rigid and tough. They're sort of a rigid, plasticky type feel. You know, they're hard. They're not flexible rubber. I hear that the Husky ones are more flexible. I hear that the WeatherTech ones are thicker. The reason I chose these is because, you know, they're about half the price of the WeatherTech. And I see the people that have those that work with the WeatherTech ones a lot. And after, you know, 3, 4, 5 years or so, it doesn't matter how tough they are. When you're climbing in and out and your boots are rubbing on these things and, you know, they sort of the grit gets into them and sort of the wear and tear, you know, gets into them, they still look kind of nasty. So I figured, you know, when these things start to wear a little bit, when they don't look as good, or when my boots make them muddy all the time and I can't get them clean anymore, I can buy a whole nother set, because they're almost half the price of the WeatherTech ones. So that's really what I'm going to do. I'm going to put these things in today, which should only take me a few minutes here, and get rid of the ones that I had before. So the ones that the truck came with here, they're actually pretty thick floor mats. You know, they're pretty thick, and they're your typical rubber. I don't know if these are the factory Chevy ones or not, really. I don't think they are. But they're pretty thick and heavy duty. They have thick ribs on them, but they don't cover everything, and you can see it starts to get dirty right there under the floor mat. You know, I'm in and out of this thing with boots on a lot because I make a lot of stops, and you can see how there's some dirt and things along here, and I'm just trying to protect this a little better. So that's what I decided. You guys can let me know if I made a good choice or a bad choice with this one. You can see right there some crap. And then next thing I'm going to do, maybe I can get your advice on this, because I'm trying to decide what to do about this seat cover. So, you know, I've got this towel on here because already the seat is just a littlest bit worn here. This is where Chevys always wear out, in that area. But overall, it's in pretty good shape. And I'm trying to get a seat cover on this, because as I start working even more, making a lot of stops, right now I might only make 5 or 6 a day, but coming the fall I might make 15 or 20 stops in one day. I'm in and out of this, and you know, I'm sweating and that sort of thing. So maybe you guys could recommend some seat covers for me so I can get rid of this towel that I got on here, and it's annoying as all get out. So recommend that for me. I appreciate it. And let me get these in, and I'll show you how it looks when I'm done. It's going to take me a few minutes. I won't bore you with that, just setting the things in. But I want to make sure I clean all this and get it vacuumed before I put the new ones in. So give me a couple minutes, and we'll get back at it. Okay, so I got them in. Pretty much, you know, all I did was vacuum the seats out, and I just set them in. And they do actually fit in there pretty well. I like the point that you see you can go underneath, the mats go underneath of the pedals, so no more of that dirty mark you always get in the corner right there. Overlaps a little bit here on your threshold. That's pretty nice, maybe not the whole way. So the front driver's seat one, you know, there's a little bit of space right here you can see. I'm thinking that as it sits in here and the heat gets to it, it'll settle some, because they are pretty stiff. So I figure as the heat and the use gets in there, settle a little bit, they fit pretty good. Let's take a look at the passenger. So passenger one's pretty much the same. There's a little bit of play right here. It goes around the edge. There's a teeny bit of play up in there, but overall I'd have to say the fit on these things are really good on the front. Now, we'll look at the backs. And the fit on the back isn't nearly as good off the mark. You can see that it's got a lot of play, you know, in the back area here. It's kind of humped up in the back area quite a bit. You can see there's a lot of play here in the back. So hopefully some of that bubble in the back, and you can kind of see the extra bulge here on the sides. Hopefully the fit here in the back isn't quite as nice. I've got it all the way butted up to there, and there's still some space right up in here. So I guess if I had to, I could trim it right in this area and trim it so that this whole area slides up another 2 inches. And I might do that later on. It's just right over here you can see the contour on the back edge isn't quite as good. So I have to say, for the SureLiner rear, I don't like it too well. The fronts, man, I'm pretty happy with that first installation. Yeah, the SureLiner Maxliners, I think I'm pretty happy. That's about what I expected. The back is a little off. Luckily, I'm not too disappointed because I didn't pay as much as what maybe the WeatherTech ones are for the back. So I'm going to see what happens here for, you know, the next couple weeks and see if this settles in a little bit. As far as the ridge lines, it doesn't form fit quite as well as the front ones do. So so hopefully that helps you. A little bit of feedback on the SureLiners. Super easy to put in. I just set them in there. But you know, you can see they're not quite laying flat yet. So hopefully the backs will settle in. If not, I'll do some customizing and trim them out a little bit so I can kind of clear that gap some. Otherwise, tell me what you think next. I'm looking at some seat covers, you know, to protect these cream puffs a little bit. So I'm going to need to get me some seat covers. I haven't decided yet if I want a full seat cover all the way up and down, or whether I just want a seat pad. You know, I mean, obviously most of the wear always happens in the bolsters here on the edge and on your seat where your cheeks hit it. So that's really what needs pretty protected the most. I never see the back of it hardly ever getting worn out. So I'm going to take a look at those. If you guys have feedback, let me know so we know which way to go. And if I have time, I might post something on how this looks a couple weeks afterwards, and how these floor mats are performing. So thanks for watching again. I know this isn't my normal thing, but that's the way they turned out. And hopefully if you're looking at floor mats too, this will help you in your decision. Keep watching, subscribe, make sure you share and hit the like button.